Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Good Morning with Sherry Lord show. And we have an amazing guest with us today, and we're so excited. Her topic is conformity and unconformity. And I'm going to bring her stuff up first because we got Michael Suscott here because we want you to answer some questions. And we're hoping you're having a wonderful morning. There we go. We got her stuff down there, and I'm going to bring this one off so we can see each other. There we go. This is better. She is amazing. I'm telling you one thing. She's got a wonderful topic that we're all excited to talk about. And her topic is conformity and nonconformity, walking in our own spiritual truth in an age of change. This is so needed with so much going on right now. And also, I want to just say a little bit about Michael Sue Scott. I tell you one thing, you're definitely going to want a reading by her because she is fantastic. I do expos, and I tell you what, we had a lot of good feedback about her, and it really changed a lot of people's lives. And she's got a wealth of information for you. And I tell you what, you're going to be blown away because she's good. So she is a trusted psychic, an angel intuitive and medium, Reiki Minister, meditation teacher, crystal healer, animal intuitive, bringing messages of love with an inspired spiritual connection. She is a conduit for archangel guidance and ascended masters. As an energy reader, a clairsentient, she uses her gifts to present practical solutions to your questions. No physical touch is necessary. She uses tarot cards as a visual expression for clarification and understanding. Welcome. Woohoo. We're so happy to have you. You're a very special guest, and you have some very unique gifts. And I also know what people have told me, but also what you have mentioned to me before is that you channel in a very unique way.
Yes,
you channel with the person's original birth name. Yeah. You channel with everybody's original birth name. And that blows me away. Everybody has their gifts, but I think that is really unique.
Well, I do check for confirmation names if somebody is, if they were given an ancestral name, like through if they're Jewish or Catholic and have confirmation names. I do test for that before I begin with people. But yes, it's definitely birth certificate name, which is where all of our power comes in.
Okay. Wow. I'm going to make sure our comments are on so that people that are on StreamYard, we can show them. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring it in so they're not hidden. There we go. There we go. On StreamYard, okay, click on comment. Okay, to show the screen. We want to make sure that they're not hidden. There we go. Let me bring them up when they come up. Their names will show, and then we'll just post them as they come. So yeah, your uniqueness, sorry about that. You do have a uniqueness. How did that come about?
I always was... Okay, so I have my gatekeeper is my old teacher. And I've had many teachers, but she was a teacher from back in the 90s. And
wow.
She's my gatekeeper. And so I've got, not everybody gets to have, somebody they knew, keeping all the spirits and information, lined up so that you don't have people talking over each other.
Okay.
So we have a lot of, her name was Margie, and we have a lot of shortcuts that we use. But one of the things that happened early on was me dealing with birth energy, numerology is a big deal. And just knowing that, who's coming through for you, who's going to be carried through from this lifetime into another lifetime. I call them, we get pods, but, I call them our spiritual pods because, it's really helpful for people to know that after they pass on and everything, that they're going to be able to reach out to certain people for just, comfort, because the grieving process kind of drags on a little bit. But when they know that there is more to come, then it's more of an excitement than a sadness. And but what happened was during COVID, I used to read at a church that actually, I'm going to start reading again for them. The beginning, it's Psychic Saturday in Sarasota, for the Sarasota Cathedral of Light. And that group, once they quit doing anything because of COVID, then I started doing more Zoom calls and things like that. And when that came up, I realized how tied everything is for vibration and sound for me that I had never really known before. And all that I ask is, some people, ask for, date of birth and things like that.
Right.
But I really feel that, there's this subjective part to astrology that, you have to be kind of careful with. And so what ends up happening for me is I use everything is like the sound vibration of their name. And I mean, I have people who are adopted that have, baby girl Smith on their birth certificates. And, it's almost like they carry this embarrassment with them, but at the same time, that is their power. And when I see their information, their history, I do an area that's like birth through puberty. With boys, it's a little longer, but I do this area that shows like what you came in to work on in this lifetime, and what the significant things that are still sitting in your energy field. And so it's usually something they don't show up like that until unless there's something that's still going on for you currently. So it's pretty interesting how it works, but everything I get is through sound vibration.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. I think that is awesome. And your topic is very, very interesting too, because I think your topic will touch a lot of people, because it is about being in your own truth and your own empowerment. I think that's important. So conformity and nonconformity, what do you like to share about what you're talking about, walking in our own spiritual truth in an age of change, which we are going through huge changes right now? But how can people know the difference? How can people maintain their truth as they're moving on their own path or in life with others?
Well, I was specifically thinking of Mother's Day was coming up. And so the mother issues for people, it's where we learn to conform in a lot of ways. And, conforming, and I was also watching Bridgerton again. And conformity ends up being something that our parents and people who love us, grandparents, different kinds of advisors throughout our lives, they all want our safety. And everybody thinks that a safe and conformed pattern is where, safety is. Okay, it's all safety. And when here we are, sorry about that, when we're living our spiritual existence and we finally start, walking in our own light and everything, that is where it is more apparent that non-conformity, which can be a little, dicey for people when they first start out, walking in their own light, becomes to take the form of, why are you doing this? This is going against possibly, religious belief systems versus our spiritual belief systems. It all comes back to people are scared for you that you aren't being safe. That's really what it is. Where when you understand and you've gotten to a place of I am safe no matter what I choose, and how I'm trying to embrace my spirituality and do certain things to increase my knowledge of how the universe works, then that is where you start to place less importance on the psychology of who we are, and sociology, which is like the group think, institutions, things like that. So when you're looking at the TV set, for instance, you look at news, I'm very cognizant of getting information, not only from that, but from, reading different things and making sure that even though I may like not identify with a certain line of thought, I'm also aware that it's out there because it does color who we are until we're really strong enough to go, and being open is super important, right? Because you never know what you're going to come up against in your own life that is still left over from, that we're supposed to work on in this lifetime, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, conventional thinking sometimes is always meant to protect us and keep us safe. And so when people step outside of the bounds of that is where we have to really learn to like be conscious of what we are trying to do, what we're trying to attain as far as like, walking in, truth, being, thought, word, and deed, consistency in thought, word, and deed. And, the people who love us just love us and they may not understand what's going on. But as you progress in your spirituality, you have a little bit easier time with, making sure that they understand that you're not doing this because you're trying to be unsafe. You're doing it because it's best to be able to hear spirit or feel spirit leading us in directions that is part of our life goal, right?
Yes. Yes, it's changed my life too on my path when I didn't know what was happening, but when you really can be still enough to hear and listen, it does guide you in everything in your life. And it's when you trust and surrender and know that the information you're getting, no matter what it sounds like to others, do it anyways. Because if you listen, it's going to be a smoother path. It's when you don't, things get a little learning at a deeper level. And sometimes it's an ouch. Why did I do that?
Right. It'll come back and you'll have to, it'll maybe be the same type of, it'll be the same subject matter anyway, and that's the part where it's really, you really have to look at what you are needing to do in this lifetime so that you're not just repeating old patterns and
yes. And to really trust. I think trust is a big key here of what you get.
And courage.
And courage, absolutely. To take the courage to go in a direction that might be foreign to you or unknown. Courage is huge. Absolutely. It's intertwined. I totally agree with that because it does. A lot of people, you look back and go, wow, I can't believe I did all that, but because you knew you were supposed to, and you
there are some people who are born nonconformists and they really scare people, right?
Yeah.
As long as people are walking in truth and light, it's like, nonconformity doesn't have to be a scary thing, right?
Exactly.
So I somebody that I knew from back in Dallas, she and I are 7 minutes apart, and we were hospitals, and we became friends, and we're still friends to this day. And I never realized how much I was fighting against conforming or realized how much I was conforming and trying hard not to be a nonconformist. But boy, she sure is. I mean, went and lived in a teepee in Oregon and, this wonderful artist. And, every time I would have the opportunity to be an artist and to, because, there are so many things that I've done in my life. Thank goodness that I have a lot of, breadth or whatever. But every time I would come up against, am I going to conform and, mother in the background, right? Or am I going to do what I know I need to do? It has always been a struggle for me. And it is sitting out there as it's a day by day thing on trying to make sure that, I'm living in my truth every time instead of falling back on, going and working at the DMV or, I'm just making up stuff because we have to have that too. And some people don't thrive in, in a place where they aren't able to conform. Okay. Because we have to, we're all at different levels of what we're able to do. And it's a never ending process, right?
Yeah, so some people need that, is what I hear. Some people got to have that in their life because that's where they are with their consciousness and their
Or
belief
they
system.
want to touch on little things that still feel safe, or go to
Oh, okay. Goes back to feeling safe again.
yeah.
Exactly.
I think that
Mm-hmm.
safety,
Yeah.
and how, because we do need groups, we do need our people. We're, part of our humanness is
Yeah.
sharing with other people and being part of a community. And sometimes that community situation and that sharing is the part that, where we get our biggest urges to conform. So the thing is coming up with people in our lives that resonate with us so that we feel safe
Okay.
in our non-conforming thoughts sometimes, right?
Right, that's true. And that's okay too. But it's knowing the difference. I think that's really huge, is to also know the difference, because not all people know the difference. But allowing others to be is hard for a lot of people too. When you're with a lot of people and they have their own belief system, because everybody's on a path, no matter if they realize it or not.
Right.
But everybody's it's a very diverse world, and there's so many different paths. Um, but somebody's views are so narrow, they don't allow the unconformed to be. So it becomes a little difficult for them. They feel more challenged sometimes with that, even though they're still, I call them free spirits. They're going to do what their path is guided. They're connected, to their path, and to go beyond being conformed. And some of them are warriors. I call them warriors sometimes. They're all different with with everybody's belief system, or where they are with their consciousness, because there are different levels and everybody's at different levels. So how can people, when they recognize it, how can they deal with people who are, when they're working together, you got conformity and non-conformity together? I mean, it's basically allowing each other. How can they best work with each other even though they're different?
Well, I think that the people who are really like paying attention to their path and
Yeah.
trying to walk in light as much as they can, I think that it's kind of more on their responsibility of like their behavior, right? Because it really
Okay.
comes down to behavior, not thought
Yeah.
patterns. Like, oh, she's just scared, or that's what she was taught when she was really she heard it a lot from somebody who was
Right.
really important, or trying to fit in because maybe they never fit in someplace before, and
Okay. Yeah.
being able to see their own power. And
Okay.
so when you're able to identify that with other people, it makes it a little bit easier to just go, that's kind of, until something happens that shakes their awareness. I'm here, I'm safe, because I'm not going to, do anything that will, hurt them, or, try not to hurt them. Right. But, sometimes just having discussions with people about the way we live is super
Yeah.
important. I mean, shutting down and saying, I don't want to deal with this, is really not helpful for anybody. So,
No,
yeah.
it's not dealing with the issue. I call it a denial. They're just not
We
ready, or they're not ready. Yeah.
we
Wow.
are all individual paths, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so even though there may be something with that one particular person that is hard to align with, there's going
Right.
to be something that you will have gone through at some point that is probably similar, because we're all in the human experience together.
Yeah, because I also say people have to remember, because you were there at one point. You know what I'm saying? Because we've all had our life experiences. Some people come in more aware than others. But we all have to allow others to be where they are. Totally allow them, and they're perfect. There's not judgment with it at all. It's just acceptance of, it's all good. They're divine too, on their own path in life experience, but not to compare. I always felt like comparing gets you stuck. We're just individual paths having their own paths. So some people compare, and I got, no, they're just different.
But comparing is part of the ego, and also
Okay. Yeah.
part of our, how we're made up and how our brain wants to work, because it
Yes.
wants everything to be easy for us. So that's why I
Yeah.
was saying in the beginning that, like, having to live consciously and remember all these things on a regular basis about where you take your information from, how you know, am I taking it from, you know, what somebody said I'm supposed to be as a person, who I am in a group, and then making a decision about like what your guides want you to be, what God wants you to be, what, you know, the angels are like pushing you to be. So those things are the things that we have to, you know, if you're aware, then you're supposed to be trying to do that, you know, on a pretty regular basis, like assessing, you know, how you're doing on a regular basis every day.
Yeah, I know, because I have a very dear friend. I've known her for many, many years, and I've been on the path. And I'm a spiritual teacher too, but um, um, all right, we came back on. I don't know what happened.
I don't know either. I heard a noise outside. There's a golf course behind me.
Oh, is there? Yeah, no, I thought that was interesting. Okay, we had a little bit of a break here, a reset, I'm going to call it.
every once in a while, it's like the Bright House will come out and they'll do work on people, you know, like hook people up, and sometimes it'll mess up my. So if it was me, I apologize.
Oh no, it's all good. It's it's all good. It's just part of the show. Things happen all the time, you know. But no, you have. Is there anything else you'd like to share about walking your own truth and spiritual? I know people they're shining their light, but how can they maintain it? Because sometimes you get into a group and everybody has their own opinions. You know, we're going to go with opinions, and there's they're not forcing themselves, they're just being true to who they are, but then they want to do something, and what they do is they share it, then all these opinions come to them. How can they stay and allow their opinions but also be true to themselves without getting swayed? Because a lot of people get swayed, you know, without really being true to themselves.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, you know, you have to look at what the group that you're in, what the group is for, you know, and, you know, if the group is for, you know, going out to eat or something like that, then, you know, the biggest discussions start out with going out to eat, and then they end up being something else. So as long as you recognize that, like, you know, is everything difficult, you know, maybe they're not a good fit for you. But if it's all a group of people, are they nice to you? Do they are they supportive? Are they nice to you? Things like that. And then you're in with at least people who, you know, possibly are like-minded. And it does take being able to get to know a little bit more about people before you can pick up on that. But like I said in the beginning about, because Mother's Day was coming up when you asked me what the topic should be, I think that it's super important to be able to realize that when we have old thoughts repeating themselves about it, the easiest way to say it is safety. What's going to keep supporting you? What's going to keep people liking you? Things like that, you know, our mothers would want for us as little toddlers, you know, things that put us in a cute outfit so nobody will beat us up, or, you know, or put us in something that, you know, try to take care of us. And I just think that looking past that and knowing that our spiritual beliefs and that we come to know as truth and are good for us, are, you know, just being able on a regular basis to make a decision about, because a lot of times we can be in a situation that's a social group that we tolerate for a while, but at some point we may outgrow it and just realize that, you know what, because here's the thing, when one door closes, another one opens. And then, my goodness, you and I, can become best friends, and we can have like a very elevated sense of our spirituality and be able to call on these people when we have things that just like blindside us. Because, we all get a little blindsided every once in a while. And when those things happen, it's easier to have somebody who's in spiritual alignment with us to like bounce things off of and see the importance of how maybe we handled it or what ways that we can handle things versus somebody who maybe is in alignment and they go, well, you need to go do this. And
exactly. No, we've all had experiences with a lot of people throughout our lives, but it was really what I hear you say, be true to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Be true to yourself, your own spiritual path and your truth. And you can still allow people, but it's still okay to let people go when they're not healthy in your life. People have a hard time with that. Because especially if you look at a situation with family, they feel like they got to keep doing the same thing, or with a friend, sometimes they got to let it go to move on, and that helps them grow as well as it helps you. People, need to be comfortable with that.
And you had said that there was somebody who was wanting to know about the Jan Curry was wanting to know about some number sequences. And how one of the funny things about it is that she was asking specifically for repeated numbers of ones, repeated twos, or repeated fours. And I just want to say that when I hear people say, "Oh, it's 1111, make a wish." Now, what to me, what the repeated ones have more to do with catching yourself at a specific time and recognizing what your thought patterns are at that time so that you can make new changes in it, so that the things that you're manifesting, new friends, new groups that resonate with you, right? So that you can be more yourself. But manifesting thoughts is more what I see with it, in order to like go, ooh, that was I was already thinking good thoughts when that came up, or ooh, I probably need to change that,
Oh, it's bringing your awareness to
I think so. That's the way I look at it. Now, on the two, she was asking about twos, and twos for me are more about changes that are coming. So being aware when you see the twos, it's like, what things are going to be changing in your life. And, with the way the numbers and things like that line up for me, it's like, I've always paid attention when driving. I love signs, and I love license plate numbers, and I love clock signs, all those things like everybody does. But she also asked about fours, and for threes are always ascended masters for me. And so I pay attention when I see, 113, that's about like manifesting, trying to manifest the right thoughts and having help with that. Angels are the fours for me.
Okay.
She was specifically, asking about those numbers. But as far as like, so 5 is the changes are like, they're happening. They're upon you. Just get ready for it. And then 6 has to do with when you find yourself in a position that you're really concentrating maybe a little bit too much on material things, and you need to go back to basics and just tap back in again with your spiritual, your inner guidance, and make sure that that sometimes we get moments of fear where we go, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to, afford this, or, and then all of a sudden you go, I'm protected just like the birds are, there's going to be something that is going to, it's either that or it's not my time. But at this point, we're going to, need to, the material side of it needs to be maybe pushed back a little bit in order to focus on service to others, or focus on spirit and gaining straight up information straight from spirit.
Exactly.
I don't know if you wanted me to go through all of those, but I did want to.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she's going to love you. Jan will just love you for that information. And we have one more by Beth Perry from Michigan, and hers is, how do we best keep connected to the spiritual realm and stay grounded?
Well, those are two completely separate things, but I thought about that question because you did send it to me earlier, and I thought about that, and it's so funny because there is some overlap in that. I really believe there is some overlap because when we okay, so I know that back in the day, like back when I was in Dallas in the 90s, I know that I had a meditation group like no other. And my meditation teacher, man, she could bring Metatron in like it would be like boom. And there was the best experience as far as like a group experience I could ever even hope to have. And so anyway, when I think of some of the things that we were doing with that, we would get through with this group and we would go out to eat and we would eat beef. Yeah. Okay. So beef, heavy foods are very grounding for you. So when somebody's wanting to come out of something where they feel like they're still like airy fairy, they're still out there, been a little too out there, they need to come in so they can pay their bills or, do something very, very physical and earthly, then, sometimes, changing your diet for that moment is good. Outside walking can do two things. It's like going out and getting under a tree can bring you closer to grounding and actually physically being able to feel your energy push down into the earth, and having your hands and your feet on grass and on earth. Now, I don't like to get dirty, but having it on some good St. Augustine and up on a tree is always nice. But then I love outside walking for the other part of it, which is going to be, how do I connect with spirit, especially for people who are like physical meditators. Not everybody knows that that's what they're doing, but if you're somebody who's like always trying to be in the body, they're very physical people, they also need to meditate. And sometimes they don't realize that like there is such there's such a thing as physical meditation, where they can do Pilates, which is very physical. They can do yoga, or they can go out and walk in nature. We can do walking for a very long time in our lives, and it's a real blessing to be able to do that. The other thing is clapping and laughter brings in angels, just come in whenever you do it. And it's like when you get together with like-minded people and somebody can tell a joke or they're just so excited to see you, I will say that the clapping and laughing that people do together in fellowship, and just, because you love them to death, that's when you just feel the energy from spirit coming. The angels will just come and just like get up on you, and you just know that they're there. But I like when I know I have to work with somebody who is really having a hard time. I do have I use frankincense oils in order to connect. Just because I know that my gatekeeper also loves it, because I used to give it to her, and I'll just put it on my hand, and I'll just be, I've got it on me right now. So it's like I'm all into the frankincense, because it really does help you connect. So those are some of the things that that I would say. The other part with like being able to connect spiritually, like I said, I see so many people who do not realize that when they are doing dishes by hand, or things that they think of as it's a chore, but I enjoy it. Well, it's because you're not thinking, you're allowing your body to do something, something to chew on a little bit. So all of a sudden, again, you're connected.
It's like they're more present and just allowing, they're out of the way,
Yeah, when you get information, you'll go, oh, I need to call so-and-so. And then that would be exactly what you needed to do to fix that issue that was, kind of outstanding over there.
Oh, absolutely. And I also know as a channel, and you're a channel, and many of us are, is that the more grounded you are, the clearer the information is. A lot of people like to be out of body and connect. And I tell them you don't have to be out of body. You just got to be in your center. They'll meet you halfway. They'll meet you halfway. Just be. The information's always there, but be grounded. And you have such great information. Michael, we're so happy to have you. We'd love to have you back. And how can people get a hold of you? Facebook, website, phone number,
phone
those.
number phone number I it's like I tried doing booking appointments online for a little bit. I may go back to that at some point, but it's just easier for me for the first time, and then after that we just do texts and stuff. But the my phone number 941-726-1234, and I think on my where it says my name down there, that's my website. It has a contact information page on the back one, but those are the two ways that are the easiest way to get in touch with me. I don't do so much with Facebook anymore, and I've kind of been a little bit lax about that in Instagram. But but other than that, it's like just call me up, and we'll schedule something, or reach out on my website, look through it, and then call me.
Yes.
So.
And we also have you on our website on our Good Morning with Sherry Lord on podcast. So if you want to have more in depth and you need more information, we also have our website there. We also have upcoming guests as well, but you can get a hold of her too. And if you want to review this, it is on Facebook. After it's been live, it will be reposted. And I need you to stay in the studio because I have to give you a code to post it on your own website or where you like to post it. And also, you can play it again. You'll see her picture and you'll see her information and how to contact her, but you can also replay the video there on the website as well. So we have different locations for people who are not on Facebook. You can get it from the website at www.sherrylord.com, SherryLord. So thank you so much, Michael. We're so happy to have you. What a wealth of information we got, and how much fun it is to chat with you. We're definitely going to have you back.
Thank you so much.